In this video, we're going to do a deconstruction of the Lewis City single, I'm So 90s. This is the recently released Neo Jack Swing remix. Let's take a look from the beats. Let's build this up from those elements. I'm going to solo over here firstly on the 808 boom. Now this is coming from Wave Alchemy's Evolution. You guys know that I like this. It's a fantastic library, and particularly the 808s are very strong. So that's underpinning some of the other elements. Let's take a look. So we've got the clap layered. This is audio, and it's got a reverse there, a breakbeat, another breakbeat, in fact what I'll do is I'll take this back so that snare fill, you can hear that. Let's take a look at that snare fill because it's doing something interesting, right? You can hear that. So if we open up the MIDI clip, you can see here we've got the clip envelope exposed, and this is MIDI pitch bend going from a high pitch down to a slightly lower pitch. That's being underpinned at the end by a clap. So those elements combine to make the beats on the intro. There is another rhythmic section that comes in. I'm going to solo that. So this is a drum kit inside Evolution again. And let me just show you something, right? So if we take all the other elements away and solo just those beats. It sounds kind of dull, right? But that's the whole thing about layering elements. So the clap, breakbeat, second break, all those elements combining. So that's the beats. Let's take a look at some of these musical elements before we take a look at those amazing Mike City vocals. So what else do we have? There was the bass and the chords. Okay, let's take a look. Just going to solo the chords, which are actually from the original version. Bass is coming from Razor. You know that I've used that a lot. And here's the bass line stripped down for when the verse is there, the vocal verse. Just going to show you I used the wind chimes here very much as a transitional tool. And then the other thing that really brings that kind of old school vibe is these orchestral stabs. So let's put these elements together. So bass, the chord, the stab, the wind chime. Let's have a listen. In fact, let me get back to those chords. And then the M1 organ. This chord, by the way, is a sample. I can't remember where on earth I got it from. But these elements are all working nicely together. M1 string. And of course that is the M1 organ 2. There is also this organ stab. It's got a real old school vibe. Definitely one of those kind of ravey textures. So stripping back for the second verse, We got a pad, a nice warm pad coming in here. Another one of those pads that I've used a lot. This is the wine pad on the Korg M1. Also a little bit of a resonant string pad here, M1. Sweep reso pad, I use this a lot. You can hear that coming up. So in truth, it's not that much in terms of extra musical elements now. There are the bells here. This is M1 wind chimes, so you can see the M1 has been used a lot on this production. A noise sweep to help with the transitions. But I tell you what, look, because we've got to that point, let's take a look at these vocals, right? So you can see there's a lot of tracks, and these are all layered together. And there are some interesting pan positions. You can see this here. So 41 left, 40 right, 44 left, 45 right, 38 left, 39 right. These are all variations of left and right. So 19 left, 20 right. And these are all designed to sit around that lead vocal. So look, let's take a look. Let's try and find a section when they're really stacked up. Maybe this chorus.
As I can't help it. I'm so 90s, so 90s. We all felt it. And this reminds me of how we used to be.
Let's hear those extra layers.
Back. I'm so not ashamed to tell it. And this reminds me of how we used to be. Back in the 90s.
You know what? They sound so good. I'm going to bring the bass on. Let's listen to these on their own.
So not ashamed to tell it. And this reminds me of how we used to be back in the 90s.
Do you know what? It's so enjoyable for me to take these elements and present them slightly differently for you, because you know, you're used to hearing, if you've heard the full track there, is you're used to hearing it in its finished context, but it's great to be able to break these elements down and listen to the track in different ways. And this reminds me of the old reprise mixes we used to get back in the day as well. Whilst we're here, let me solo the pad as well. Let's come on to that nice second verse breakdown.
Back then, it was still new.
Sounds so good.
What you could or couldn't do. As long as that feeling came through, it was cool to play by your own rules.
I think the only thing left to do is to take a look at the master settings. So this is something that I did master myself in terms of the release. Let's take a look at the first part of that chain. Virtual mix rack. Running through the FG401, not actually doing much here. I don't know why I did that. In fact, look, it's turned off, so there's nothing, no signal going through there. There is signal going through this Neve EQ emulation. So you can see here that's warming things up on the bottom end of it. 80 Hertz, a little bit of a plus 3 dB gain. Cutting at 3.2 kilohertz. And just a little lift up here on the high end. That's the high shelf, so brightening things up just a little bit. That's the first stage. Next up, SSL G compressor from Waves. A slight amount of compression here just to gel things together. EQ8, a little bit of a dip over here at 2.5K. Abbey Road vinyl. This, for me, I don't know what it does, but it adds this kind of extra special dimension. Let me turn it off for you. Oh, by the way, that wasn't a fair comparison, because look, the input level is vastly reduced here. So when I take that off, the signal just jumps up. That wasn't in context. And I don't have time to give you something accurately level matched, but trust me, that thing is a magic ingredient. Okay, got it really cheap on the sale recently, so thank you, Waves, for discounting your products every now and again. And then finally, the L2 for the mastering limiter at the very end with a maximum level of minus 0.3. Let's have a listen. Not too much gain reduction, but it's just there, providing that nice, loud, but not too loud, limiting. So that's it. Please listen to the track, spread the word, share it. Look, I mean, if you've got Spotify, you've got nothing to lose by sharing that link. We just need people to hear the song, you know. It just needs to have that chance to spread around. We've had some really good support, you know, from DJs, and that's great. But we just need you guys to stream the track. And also, whilst you're there, go and check out Louis City, the album Where Is the Soul, because Mike City and I put a ton of work into that, and we don't think that many people have heard it. Okay, so if you have any questions, just give me a shout. I'll see if I can get back to you.